Hi everyone, it's Karen Delphi here. I'm so glad to be back after a little break of making videos, and I'm super glad that you're joining me today. So today here, I've got, helping you prepare for Christmas, this lovely new Poinsettia stencil from Sweet Poppy Stencils. I've set it on a tag, but you can make a card, you can make some wrapping paper with this technique, or decorate a bag. The opportunities are endless here. So I'm going to show you the technique and I'd love to see what you make with it. So I am using the brand new Poinsettia stencil. Isn't it gorgeous? Look at it. You can do all sorts of things with that. Then I've set it on a tag which I have cut using one of the dies from Sweet Poppy Stencils. So this die, you get 7 tags. You get from this large, huge size right down to a much smaller size. And the one that I've used is number 4. It sits right in the middle of all of those. So you get these 7, you get a long thin tag, and then you get the little circle bit in the middle. I'll show you what we're going to do with that. So I've cut my tag out of just some white card. And then on the background, I've used the holly backplate. And then for my sentiment, I'm using from the Just a Word sentiment set, and you get 6 A5 sheets. So you get 3 in white and 3 in black. Look at that. How easy is that? When you're making loads of tags, this is a great way to do it. So I tend to chop it down the center and then slice off the ones that I want. It works really well that way. As I said, a black and a white. And then I've just put some little bling and sparkles on it, and this is gold embossing powder. So, super glad that you're here. We will get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our tag that I've die cut. I've got my magnetic sheet. Just going to pop a piece of card on the back of it. Now, the colours that I'm going to be using, I've got Twisted Citron, Lucky Clover and Mowed Lawn. Now, you can't get better Christmas greens than that. It's beautiful. And then Cracked Pistachio. And you'll see why we want all those greens. You can see how I've reverse stenciled them. And then for my reds, I've got Lumberplaid Jack. No, not that. I've got Lumberjack Plaid and Festive Berries. I am applying them with a smoothie, but you can use your favourite blending brush. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece of copy paper and my lightest colour. I'm going to go with Twisted Citron, my lightest. I've just got a piece of copy paper here to protect my work. And in a circular motion, I'm just going to apply a bit of colour down this side. It's not an exact science as to where you're placing this green, but what you do want to do is make sure you go over it several times so that you get a nice solid block of colour there. Fabulous. That's my Twisted Citron. Then I'm going to come in with my next darkest colour, which is Mowed Lawn. And I'm just going to flip this tag around, just because it's easier to work than trying to apply my colour over the other one. So if I do this, then I'm going to take my smoothie. Again, I always start off the card and bring it close to my previous colour. circular motion, and I'm going over it several times so that I've got a solid block of colour. Then I'm going to come back with my lighter smoothie that I used for the Twisted Citron, and I'm going to blend these two colours together. Now, because we're going to put the holly black back plate on the top of it, you don't need to be too precious if you haven't got a completely even blend. And then third colour is my Lucky Clover, and I'm just going to apply that in this little corner at the end. And again, I'm going to go back over with my mowed lawn just to make sure that I've got these two colours are playing nicely together. So, as I said, not an exact science as to how you apply those colours, but you just want some variety on your background. Now I'm going to come in with my magnetic sheet, pop that down in the middle, and bring my holly black back plate, I'm struggling to say that today, over my tag. Now you can still see through it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the darker colour into the lighter area, and then this very dark colour into the middle area, and then I'm going to put cracked pistachio, which is lighter, onto my very dark one. So I've got my lightest colour in the corner. I'm going to take my middle colour and put it over there. That's mowed lawn. And you can more or less see through the stencil where you're putting it. Perfect. Then I'm going to take my darkest colour and put it over my middle colour. So Lucky Clover over mowed lawn. Note, I haven't moved my stencil at all. And then last but not least, I'm going to take my cracked pistachio and just pop that over this corner. And I'm going to do a double layer for this one because it is lighter. That's it. It's as simple as that. Let me just put the right colours on the right. Have you ever done that? Put the wrong lids on the wrong colours and then we come to it next time. So there you have your lovely tag. Isn't that fun? Now, while I've got my greens out, I'm just going to, remember I said to you in this lovely tag set, you get the little circle. So I die cut that, here it is, and I'm just going to go over with my darkest green, just like that. So I have this lovely dark green circle now. When I put it over there, it's just going to make a bit of a statement. I'm just going to leave it there, let some of that ink soak in. Now, whilst you've got your blending sponges and your inks out, we're going to take Lumberjack Plaid and Festive Berries, and doing exactly what I did with the green, I'm just going to create a square of red, and for this I just use my smoothie circular motion all the way over the card with both colours. By giving you that variegated colourway, you're not going to land up with a flat block of red. So you can see as I tilt this in the light, there's a bit of variation in that red. So you just want one of those for our poinsettia. Now I did give this a blast with a heat gun just to make sure that it's completely dry before we start fiddling around with the next layer. And the next layer being, we're going to put this stencil down for the red. Now you know which way the right way of the stencil is because they are stamped. Now I haven't done the leaves on this because I thought we have enough leaves. So I'm just going to do the actual poinsettia. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my black pen. You can use a pencil, whatever you like. And I'm just going to go around the edge of my poinsettia. Like this. So this is a slightly different way of using our stencils. But you know what? I think it's great to have the variety and the different ideas that each of us from the design team bring you. I hope you're enjoying this lovely day. So there you have it, your lovely poinsettia. And now to get our splatters. We are not going to use embossing pad or embossing ink. I am just going to use water. So I'm going to cut this out and then emboss it. Okay, so once we've cut our poinsettia out, what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit of water and our fan brush. And I'm just going to tap the water over our cutout, just like that. And then use my embossing powder, and it sticks to the water. Look at that. Isn't that fun? So I'm going to emboss that with a heat gun and then I'll come back to you. Now, to get some of this around the edge, I just used my embossing pad, but you can see, look at those lovely splatters. Look at the lovely splatters. I think I was a bit heavy-handed here, but you'll see it'll come out all right. So I'm just going to use my watermark pad and just to go around the edge, and then put my gold embossing powder on it. You don't want to smother it at all. Just want it to look light and fluffy. So now, a few things to finish it off. Our little round circle at the top. Just put a tiny bit of glue around that and just pop it on to the top of our tag. Isn't that lovely? And then we're going to take our poinsettia with a little bit of glue in the centre and put some of our baubles and sequins in there. You can use glitter if you like. Quite like these. So I was a bit heavy-handed with that water, those water droplets. So if I were you, I'd make sure you tap your brush off first before putting it onto your poinsettia, because that was my problem. Still, I quite like that. We're going to let that dry for a second. There we go. Look at our poinsettia there. And I just cut one of the Merry Christmases, one of the sentiments from that lovely set. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise it. And for that I use these sticky fixers. They come in little sheets like this, and then I can just cut them in half and use the bit that I want to use. So I'm going to put some of this here and the other half of what I just cut it onto this side. Now, I probably want to set this first, being careful I've just put all those beads in the centre. So, how do I want this? I put my, oh, I quite like it like that. Now, what I did on the other one is I cut some of the petals off, so you can cut them whichever way you like. Oh, I quite like it like, oh, yes. Look at that. I like that. So I'm just going to note that I don't want to put my glue right to the edge because my poinsettia overhangs the edge of the tag. So I'm just going to put my glue down the centre there, making sure that I have a generous amount because this is thick card and we want it to stick. So we pop that down there. Oh, I quite like this. There we go. And then I'm going to pop my Merry Christmas. You could, no, I'm going to do it like that. Oh, I like that. Make sure these stick down. And then the last thing that I did was I put some little sequins. Now, when I'm adhering sequins, I put a tiny bit of glue onto my mat. And then I will just lift the sequins, squidge it in the bit of the glue, and then just pop my sequins down like that. Oh, I was a bit worried I was a bit too heavy-handed here, but I actually think that when it sets down, that I quite like it. That's just as well, isn't it? Now, when I'm doing sequins, I will not do even numbers. I will do odd numbers. Oh, I might put this one in there. Oh, yes. I'm going to leave it. Now, my previous one, I had some tiny sequins into it. Look at those. So I am just going to cut the edges off here once this is all dry. And then the last thing that I did was put a tiny bit. I'm going to wait till this is all dry. Otherwise, that's just a recipe for disaster, isn't it? And then I just threaded this through the edge there. So there you have it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you are enjoying your day, and I would love to see what you make, so please tag me, and I'll be back again soon. Bye for now.